Hello, welcome everyone to our Unlimited Network Mastermind. Today is March 28th, 2015, and I'm super excited today because we are really starting a new wave of working, all of us here together, about prosperity. And we are working, with our team now for a year in Masterminds, and to really, we are working different books. And this time we are choosing to dive deep into the dynamic laws of prosperity of Catherine Ponder. And it's something that I think can benefit a lot of people. And the more we do this together, the better for everyone involved and the planet even. So I'm very excited about doing that. And something that I would like to clarify here is like our Unlimited Network Mastermind was founded by Arne Rantzen, and is dedicated to support the success of conscious entrepreneurs. So we are really committed here to support all of us to reach our dreams and to develop whatever it is that we need to develop from the inside out, to allow, instead of having to work hard in our lives, to get what we want. And we decided to do this together with Doc Fran also, that is here in the panel with us, and is a great friend of us, and really a business partner that we are learning a lot from. And he has like 35 years of successful entrepreneurship, I will call it that way. And one of the things that I love about you, Doc Fran, is that you are very open to evolution and to change, because it's true that the way that we approach business today is not the same that we approach it, maybe 30 years ago or something like that. So I love that we can use, your experience in supporting us to allow the change in our lives, something that I really admire about you. So besides, the first thing, I would like to open a little minute here to introduce myself, and then Arne, and then you, Doc Fran, so we can feel, the energy that is behind this project of being together for several weeks. We are going to be here working together. So to introduce myself, I am Monica Garaycoechea, but you can call me Dr. Monica, because not only I am a medical doctor, but my last name is kind of complicated to say. So, everybody knows me now as Dr. Monica. So I am a spiritual life coach, and I really dedicated my life to the spiritual awakening, and I'm the founder of Feminine Presence, that I dedicated like for 20 years. I'm supporting women to find their authentic, power, beauty, and love inside. And something that I love, and lately I really felt in love to the entrepreneurship. At one point I decided to manifest, to open myself to embody prosperity, the real abundance and the real prosperity, to create my own financial freedom in the level that I choose myself to be free financially talking, so to really do what I like to do in life. And that really pulled me to meet great people that we have here in the panel with us, and to work for 2 years or even more in the entrepreneur, in the core of being an entrepreneur, self-employed, and to really go for our dreams. So that's me here. That's why I can share this panel. I will be one of your guides, the host of this Unlimited Network. And then Arne is the founder of Unlimited Network, really. He was the one that 25 years ago, or 20 years ago, let's say, he founded Unlimited Network to support the consciousness, for sure. But I would love to hear from you, Arne, just a few words to feel your energy here, and who are you?
Well, thank you. I'm really excited to share these several months. I think we're going to be together in studying the book of prosperity. And the first time I did it, was 1983 was the first time I read Catherine Ponder's Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, and it had a profound impact on me. And I've studied it, I think, about 2 times in between then and now, and it is a fantastic book. And it's we are a group of people that are looking for prosperity, but we know it's not enough just to work hard on the outside. We know that we need to have a balance between doing inner work and open our consciousness and apply some consciousness methods, activity that is presented in this book, that we take it into our life and into our business. And the particular business model that is in today's time that I feel very lucky is the technology. So we can be here now and talk to people all around the world and be anywhere, and we can all meet, and we can have I'm in the jungle in Costa Rica here right now. You can hear the birds maybe in the background, and so it's really nice. And the business model that is just coming out now is the e-commerce has been developing for the last 10 years or more and becoming really, really potent and successful. But what's new is that the e-commerce being fueled by social media. That is something that really excites me, together with the inner work to bring forth our prosperity and success for all in this course here. So I'm looking forward to share that with all of us.
Thank you, Arne. I love it. And then let's feel you a little bit, Doc Fran, to just say 2 or 3 words to introduce yourself and to feel you. That's something that I love to. So if you can say hello to all of us, will be beautiful.
Well, good morning, everyone, and what an exciting call, and welcome to all of our new guests here this morning. I want to say thank you to Arne and Monica, because they are amazing people, they're amazing leaders, and they really apply their passion to life and their business and their friends, etc. And that's a beautiful thing, because we all know the phrase that, or we've heard the phrase that knowledge is power, but that's not exactly 100% accurate. Knowledge applied is power. And many of us may have an awareness of things that would be considered knowledge, and yet we don't either know how, or we don't actually apply that knowledge to the successful operation of our lives. And as a result, we may not always get exactly the results that we think we need and want. So it's a privilege to work with Arne and Monica. As they mentioned, I've been in this industry now for 35 years. I'm a retired dental specialist, and I started into home-based businesses, network marketing, relationship marketing about 35 years ago. And it's very interesting why I've been successful in that industry, because I wrote a mission statement about 35 years ago that actually encapsulated not only my life up to that point, but has proven to stand the test of time since then. And that mission statement is to improve the condition in life of anyone who will allow me influence over them. And I've had an awful lot of fun in the intervening time since coming to an awareness of that as my life's purpose. And it really is exciting to help people encounter this growth in consciousness, as Monica talked about. And we're all doing that continuously throughout our lifetime. We're doing it at different rates and different paces, and finding different paths all to the same essential core truths. And so I've been really blessed to be parts of masterminds like this for the last 4 or 5 years through this miracle of internet communication, etc. And I have to say that Arne's vision for this unlimited network as a forum for entrepreneurs that are looking for consciousness, that are looking for success, and are looking to determine what are the mechanisms by which highly successful people become highly successful. And so, how many of you are aware that your mindset, your attitude, determines the course of your life? And that's a simple statement to make. It's a really profound statement to understand, and an even more challenging statement to apply continuously and effectively to your life. So I want to welcome all of you that have chosen to join us this morning, because through this medium, Arne and Monica, myself, Jay, and the panel have really been delving into iconic works in this field of mindset and attitude. And what's really fascinating is that these are not new ideas. These are not current to 2015. These truths have been known for 5,000 and 6,000 years, written about in various forms by many of the recognized philosophers, writers, brilliant thinkers, etc., of the ages. And a great deal of the work that we've focused on are works that have been written at the turn of the century and in the earliest parts of the 1900s here. So it's really quite fascinating how timely and timeless these trainings are. So sit back, enjoy. This is a really fun book that we're about today. You're very fortuitous. You're joining us on the very first day of this new and exciting book written in about 1962 by Catherine Ponder. And I think we're going to have an awful lot of fun with this, and it may really help to learn how to apply these truths and timeless mindsets to your life and business. Back to you, Monica.
Thank you, Doc Fran. And yes, I love it. I'm excited, because we really start a journey here. So anybody that that is committed to your own prosperity consciousness, here we go. And I want just to practically say that we have a panel that you see here with a maximum of 10 people. So I would love anyone that feels that we like to be part of. In the panel, what we do after reading the chapter is we share, we give our inputs, our practice. I mean, we take maybe a little more responsibility in the sense of reading the chapter and knowing what we talk about here. But I would love to hear the voice of everyone. So if you're interested, please email Arne, A-R-N-E, at unlimitednetwork.com, and you just say, I would love to be in the panel, and we will rotate, because we can be 10 here. And also, very big welcome to the people that are on the other side of the panel, that we don't see you physically here in the video, but you can ask questions. There is a link, a button below your video there that says questions Q&A. So you can always write your questions there, and one of us, Arne, will probably read the question and we will answer, or maybe just you want to write a share in something that is important to you. So you are really important here in this journey. So please just be yourself and take the maximum as much as you can, because we are all going to really, the goal of this is to allow the real prosperity, in our life, in our daily life, and that implies to, like Doc Fran was saying here, not only to read the book or to know the things, but to embody them, to really integrate all that information and to make it ours, to become that information. So here we go. I'm going to share a little bit that for me this book is a book, like Arne was saying, we studied a long time ago. We started with it, but I'm very in love to the balance between the masculine and the feminine, and there is a lot of books in business, that are very masculine from my perspective. And yes, they tell you the rules and how it works. But I found with Catherine Ponder that she has a big heart, and maybe you get a little surprised with the language that she uses, because she was the minister of the Unity Church, and she used a lot of terminology and the Bible and Christian terminology, God. I would love to inspire you to replace that word if you are not comfortable with it, with universe, with superior force, something bigger than us, the great spirit, whatever works for you. But I see that Catherine Ponder really offered to me the feminine side of this business, that is real experiences in life and stories. So some of them, we are not going to read all of them, in the chapters because they are kind of long, but don't doubt to take the book and to read it yourself, because there is nothing for the feminine side of us more inspiring than to see how people experience and what happens with them when they really use this kind. So the book has a lot of prayers that you can call affirmations, but I mean really helps you to connect, to open your heart and to connect with a higher power in us. So that's something that I love, and I think it's nice for all of us to get familiar and to really trust what we are made of, okay? So that's the first thing. What else? I'm going to read a little bit of the introduction to feel her a little bit here. And then Doc Frank is the one that is going to help us to read the chapters. And then we are going to comment, and share the impact that chapter has. And they are powerful. So the introduction says, there is gold dust in the air for you. This book is a result of several recent recessions and many years of lean living. Nobody likes recessions and nobody likes lean living, and indeed nobody should like them. For 15 years, I tried to find such a book as this one. During those years of searching the bookshelves, I found that there are many books which give various success ideas, but in none of them did I find a set of compact, simple laws for assuring success. I began searching for a book such as this after having been widowed and left with a small son to rear and educate. Since I had no training for work and no means of income, I would have given anything to have known then about the power of prosperous thinking. For a while, I experienced depression, ill health, loneliness, financial lack, and a sense of complete failure. It seemed that the whole world was against me and that everything I did went wrong. But with my son to provide for, I could not settle for failure. I had to succeed for his sake as well as for my own. Finally, when I was at my lowest ebb emotionally, physically, and financially, I learned about the power of thought as an instrument for success or failure. I came to realize that failure is basically the result of failure thinking. I learned that the right use of my mind could become the key to healthy, happy, prosperous, successful living. As soon as I grabbed this wonderful success secret, the tide began to change. The birth of prosperity thinking. The word prosper means to flourish, succeed, thrive, to experience favorable results. You are prosperous to the degree that you are experiencing peace, health, and plenty in the world. While prosperous thinking means many things to people, basically it gives you the power to make your dreams come true. Whether those dreams are concerned with better health, increased financial success, a happier personal life, more education and travel, or a deeper spiritual life. This book plainly shows how prosperity thinking has helped people in every walk of life to experience these results. Furthermore, it shows how prosperous thinking can do these things for you too. As you read this book chapter by chapter, you will automatically begin to develop the power of prosperous thinking, and almost as easily you will begin to reap a harvest of prosperous results. The salesman with the golden touch. Years ago, a salesman used the power of prosperous thinking, although he may not consciously being aware of it. When people asked him, "How's your business?" he always gave this standard answer: "Business is wonderful because there is gold dust in the air." For him, it certainly seemed to be so. Every contact became a sale. After a while, whenever his name was mentioned, people always said, "Yes, everything he touches turns to gold." The salesman was right. This is after she writes several stories where you can see, how people really change with the prosperity consciousness. That salesman was right. There is gold dust in the air for you, for me, and for everyone. The economists know this because they declare that we have now entered one of the richest eras the world has ever known, which they are describing as the golden 60s. I want to just mention that we are in the golden, 2015 and beyond, with the technology that Arne, you were saying. And I mean, I think today is so easy to really jump in a business vehicle that can help all of us, or to support your own business with your own prosperity consciousness, The scientists know that there is gold dust in the air because they declare this universe to be composed of nothing but radiant substance or ether, to which man has unlimited access. Psychologists and metaphysicians know about the gold dust. They declare that man forms his world from the rich, unlimited substance within him and around him through his thoughts, emotions, words, and actions. And so let us proceed in confidence, knowing that there is gold dust in the air and that there is gold dust everywhere. As you begin reading this book, no matter what the conditions of your life may now be, do so in this attitude of mind. There is gold dust in the air for me. Through definite, deliberate, prosperous thinking, I now begin assimilating that gold dust, and even now, I am beginning to experience gold dust results. And with this, I just want to recall that, imagine for a second that we have this sentence, that there is gold dust for you, for me, that we really believe it, we become that belief system, okay? I'm sure that we will manifest it, we will experience. So let's start this journey with the chapter number 1. Doc Fran, please welcome back, and let's see what we can learn today with chapter number 1.
Excellent. Thank you, Monica. I love the introduction to this book. She does open up a number of areas of introspection, I think, for virtually all of her readers. So I appreciate the privilege of being the kind of guide on this part of the process. And what I want to let our new listeners know is that you can follow along with the written book if you go on to unlimitednetwork.com, and most of you have probably already done this, but unlimitednetwork.com under Resources Books, you will find a PDF file that you can either put on your computer screen and read along with us, or download and print out to follow along with a hard copy of this. And this, again, is part of Arne's genius. He locates all of these resources and puts them at our fingertips through Unlimited Network. So tremendous amount of value in that site. So here we are, The Shocking Truth About Prosperity, Chapter 1 in this marvelous book, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. The shocking truth about prosperity is that it is shockingly right instead of shockingly wrong for you to be prosperous. Russell H. Conwell emphasized this in his famous Acres of Diamonds lecture. I say you ought to be rich. You have no choice and no right to be poor. To live and not be rich is a misfortune, and it is doubly a misfortune because you could have been rich just as well as being poor. We ought to get rich if we can by honorable methods, and these are the only methods that sweep us quickly towards the goal of riches. Please note that the word rich means having an abundance of good or living a fuller, more satisfying life. Indeed, you are prosperous to the degree that you are experiencing peace, health, happiness, and plenty in your world. There are honorable methods that can carry you quickly toward that goal. It is easier to accomplish than you may think now. That too is the shocking truth about prosperity. Several decades ago, a businessman predicted that religious leaders of the future would be forced to give more attention to helping their followers solve their economic and personal problems of the present. and that would be less concerned with the dead past or the unborn future. I agree with that businessman, and I wish to help you do just that. Solve your economic and personal problems of the present. As you do, your dead past and your unborn future will surely be taken care of. You should desire prosperity. Perhaps one of the greatest shocks I ever received was the one that became apparent when I began lecturing on prosperity. I soon realized that many of the people attending the lectures were still trying to resolve the old conflict of whether they should desire to be prosperous. Of course, they wanted prosperity. Every normal person does. But they appeared to secretly wonder whether they should seek it or not, especially from a spiritual standpoint. Most of the business people attending the lectures seemed to feel guilty about wanting to be prosperous, though of course they were working hard every day in their jobs to do so. The question obviously was still in their minds, whether poverty was a spiritual virtue or a common vice. That conflict in their thinking was setting up a conflicting result in their affairs, which neutralized their efforts to succeed no matter how hard they were working. Soon it became apparent that it would take the expression of some bold, even shocking ideas on the subject to blast out the limited beliefs that had bound these people to mediocre living for years. Realizing this, I spent several lecture periods explaining how God, man, and prosperity are all divinely related. After the initial shock of these ideas had passed, these fine people were greatly relieved and very happy that at last they no longer had to feel guilty about wanting to be prosperous. It was then that they began to experience the previously described results in rapid time. Since that time, in my lecturing around the country, in private counseling, and correspondence on the subject with countless people, in radio, television, and newspaper interviews, I find that the same idea still persists. Perfectly wonderful people seem quite confused about whether prosperity should be considered a spiritual blessing, and how relieved they are when shown that it definitely is. Poverty is a sin. And so again I say, it is shockingly right instead of shockingly wrong for you to be prosperous. Obviously, you cannot be very happy if you are poor, and you need not be poor. It is a sin. Poverty is a form of hell caused by man's blindness to God's unlimited good for him. Poverty is a dirty, uncomfortable, degrading experience. Poverty is actually a form of disease, and in its acute phases, it seems to be a form of insanity. Poverty fills prisons with thieves and murderers. It drives men and women to drink, prostitution, dope addiction, suicide. It drives potentially fine, talented, intelligent children to delinquency and crime. It makes people do things they otherwise would never dream of doing. Communism, one of the most dread movements in the world today, often gets a stronghold as the direct result of poverty. Let us be done with thinking of poverty as a virtue. It is a common vice. If you have been living in financial lack and limitation, you have literally been living in vice. That too is the shocking truth about prosperity. But you need not continue living in financial vice. There is a way out. Prosperity is your divine heritage. The Bible is filled with rich promises regarding your potential prosperity as a child of God. You should be prosperous, well supplied, and have an abundance of good because it is your divine heritage. Your Creator wants you that way. That is the shockingly nice truth about prosperity. Besides, you can't be much good to yourself or to anyone else unless you are prosperous. The person who does not desire to be prosperous is abnormal, because without prosperity, you live abnormally. You cannot live fully on the physical plane without proper food, comfortable clothing, warm shelter, and without freedom from excessive toil. Rest and recreation are also needed for your physical life. You cannot live fully on the mental plane without satisfying creative mental activity, without books and time to enjoy them, without time to enjoy music, art, and other cultural interests, without opportunity and money for travel and intellectual association with others of similar interests. To live fully on the spiritual plane of life, you need time for quiet contemplation, for meditation, for prayer, spiritual study, attendance at churches, lectures, and satisfying association with others on the spiritual path. It is therefore of supreme importance that you be prosperous for your physical, mental, and spiritual welfare and development. Make no excuses for putting up with lack or accepting it as a permanent arrangement in your life. Do not go to other extreme either and talk of wanting to be prosperous for the good you can do. That is secondary. You want to be prosperous mainly because it is right that you should be. Prosperity is your divine heritage as the child of a king, as a son of God. Success is divinely ordained. There is no reason for you to think of prosperity as something separate from your spiritual life or beyond the pale of religion. An analyst recently declared to me that he had found the most common cause of failure in people is the conflicting idea about whether success is divinely ordained or divinely damned. For instance, he stated that many had assured him that failure was more spiritually approved than success by quoting the words of Jesus, "You cannot serve God and mammon," Matthew 6:24. This doctor further stated that he had spent many an hour explaining to people who are not succeeding that being success-minded is not serving mammon, and that they should stop using God as an excuse for their failure. The dictionary describes mammon as, quote, riches regarded as an object of worship or as a false god. People serve mammon who leave God out of their financial affairs and try to go it alone. When you realize that God wants you to be prosperous and that God, as the creator of this rich universe, is indeed the source of your prosperity, then you are not worshiping mammon. You are not making prosperity a false god. You are simply claiming your prosperous heritage from the source of all your blessings. Jehovah pointed out that the right spiritual attitude toward prosperity when he told Moses to remind the children of Israel, "But thou shalt remember Jehovah thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth." The word wealth means grand living. And that is what a prosperous thinker should be working toward and should be expecting as his spiritual right. Upon entering the ministry, I decided to settle this issue within my own mind by studying the biblical view of prosperity versus poverty. It was a pleasant surprise to discover that the Bible is the greatest textbook on prosperity ever written. The Bible clearly shows you that you have not been pleasing God by settling for lack and limitation in your life any more than you have been pleasing yourself. The very first chapter describes the rich universe created for man. The last book of the Bible symbolically describes heaven in rich terms. Jesus' life and teachings bear clear evidence of his understanding of prosperity laws. When Jesus declared, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom," he was not referring to those living in poverty. Poor in spirit means those who are humble and receptive, not prideful and self-important. Why poverty is not spiritual. You may wonder why there's been so much talk of sacrifice, persecution, and hard times as necessary phases of the spiritual way of life. History reveals that the inspired yet practical teachings of the Bible continue to be observed during the early centuries after Christ. But soon, religion became more secularized, leading to variations and departures from Jesus' original teachings. Later, the feudal systems during the Middle Ages assured wealth only for the privileged few. During this period, the teaching of poverty and penance was offered to the masses as the only way to salvation in order to keep people in poverty and to make lack and privation a supposed Christian virtue. Some of those old feudal ideas about poverty as a spiritual virtue have persisted until today, but they are false, man-made ideas and not God's rich truth for you and me. Thus, make no further excuses to yourself or others for wanting to be prosperous. It is a divine desire that should be given divine expression. You can boldly give thanks that prosperity is your divine heritage, that the Father's desire for you is unlimited good, not merely the means of a meager existence. Right attitudes will pay your bills. Now, in order to help you establish the all-important prosperous attitude that God is the source of man's supply as the creator of this rich universe, and that God's will for you is therefore the wealth of the universe, I suggest that you paraphrase the words of Jehovah to Moses. I will remember Jehovah God, for he it is that giveth me power to experience wealth. Perhaps you're thinking, yes, but is this kind of thinking practical? Can such attitudes actually help put shoes on the baby, food on the table, and pay the rent? Yes, it can. Recently, I talked with a young woman who seemed to have everything against her. When stricken with paralysis, her drinking, gambling, non-working husband deserted her, leaving several children to support and educate. When I asked her what her prosperity secret was and how she had been able to meet every bill on time while she was in a wheelchair with no ample or steady income, she said that one prayer had been her great source of strength and supply. Whenever a financial need was near, she would quietly meditate over and over upon this promise from the 46th Psalm. Be still and know that I am God. This woman, recognizing God as the source of her supply, has proved that this source will never fail her, even under extreme conditions of ill health, marital disappointment, and financial uncertainty. Meanwhile, she is proving that God's rich supply can come in many unforeseen ways to meet the needs of the moment, regardless of life's hard conditions. The psalmist was recognizing God as the source of his supply when he declared, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." It is a good prosperity prayer to declare often. A housewife needed, a saleswoman who had had a lot of financial expense and whose sales had fallen off decided to look to God as the source of her supply by affirming over and over from the Lord's Prayer, "Give me this day my daily bread." Daily her needs began to be supplied as she had been praying that they would be. Her daily bread appeared in many satisfying forms. Of course, the wonderful thing about recognizing God as the source of all riches and taking him into your financial affairs and into every department of your life is that the more you do so, the more stabilized every phase of your life becomes. In due time, there are no stringent financial emergencies to be dramatically met with instant manna from heaven. Instead, things just get better and better financially, so that there is always substance on hand to meet your needs. But it is good to know that until you develop a proper understanding to bring forth the substance of the universe in an abundant, unbroken stream of supply, the financial needs of the moment can be met by looking to the source of all riches, a rich heavenly Father. The link between thought and supply. Perhaps you're thinking, if my prosperity comes basically from God, if he is the source of my supply, then why all the talk about prosperous thinking? What does prosperous thinking have to do with my supply? God's rich supply is all around you universally, as well as innately within you, as talents and abilities and ideas longing for expression. But that rich supply and substance must be contacted and used. Your mind is your connecting link with it. Your attitudes, your mental concepts, beliefs, and outlook are your connecting link with God's rich substance and your access to it. God can only do for you what he can do through you by means of your thoughts and ideas, which lead to your reactions. Thus, prosperous thinking opens the way to prosperous results. I stir up the gifts of God within me and around me, and I am blessed on every hand with happiness, success, and true achievement. Just by declaring this idea, you will begin stirring up the riches of the universe, attracting them to you and expressing them through you. Success adores the prosperous attitude. Another of the shocking truths about prosperity is that thoughts of your mind have made you what you are, and thoughts of your mind will make you whatever you become from this day forward. Some authorities believe that one prosperous thought is more powerful than 1,000 failure thoughts, and that 2 prosperous attitudes, steadily held and expressed, are more powerful than 10,000 failure attitudes. Success adores the prosperous attitude. Of that you can be sure. Meanwhile, remind yourself often that God is the source of all your supply, and then make spiritual contact with him. His rich substance and rich ideas that await your appreciation. I am the rich child of a loving Father. I now accept and claim his rich good for me in every phase of my life. My own God-given success in the form of rich ideas and rich results now appears. Remind yourself often that these shocking truths about prosperity, that it is shockingly right instead of shockingly wrong to be prosperous, that God created a rich universe for you and wants you to enjoy it. That prosperity can come quickly through your deliberate use of prosperous thinking, which leads to the expression of rich ideas, rich actions, and rich results. Now, launch forth happily and expectantly into the dynamic laws of prosperity, the spiritual and mental laws which can and will transform your life. You can, from this page forward, begin freeing yourself of limitation, lack, and failure. As you accept and use the simple but powerful ideas given in this chapter and in the pages to come, you will find yourself on the royal road to success. Furthermore, you will find it a pleasant experience that produces satisfying results. That is the power of prosperous thinking, and that is the shockingly nice truth about it. Well, great food for thought, and I'm sure that our panel will have a few things to enlighten us with. So back to you, Monica.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Doc Fran. I just love the emphasis that you offered to it, and I recommend to all of us to read the book. You know, there is many stories in between, but you really have the ability to go to the core of it. And you know, to start with the panel conversation here, I just would like to say things that for me were shocking when I read it, and I studied the book. I really want to highlight the difference between reading the book or studying. Okay, to get it in. But I really see, you know, like the word sin, you know, to me, I think the most important thing that we can see here is how the old consciousness where we are awakening from is the one that is based on separation, scarcity, fear. So we are not doing anything wrong. We are just waking up. We are waking up to the new frequency of our true nature. We are more conscious today than, you know, maybe 100 years ago. And we can touch that. So I love the relationship that she offers here about surrendering, opening up to the life force that created us. Call it God, universe, doesn't matter. The name for me is you know, I call it love, capital letters, but doesn't matter. The life force, the creator of life, you know. So to really learn how to create that relationship, that contact with that frequency of complete abundance and prosperity. So I would like to just switch, like from thinking that we have seen that we have did something bad, that we are guilty, that many of us, we can think that way, or the old consciousness will think that way, to understand that was just ignorance. We didn't know. We didn't know who we are. And also to take something that really hits me here, is to take the responsibility about my own relationship with money. And I see that money is a mirror. And when you project your old consciousness, fearful, greedy, not enough, and blah, blah, onto money, that's what money is going to reflect to you. You will see people that have money that are that way. And for me, a big, big healing was to realize that money is consciousness, is the mirror. And many people today, they don't want to think about money. They would like to transcend money, to don't have money in the planet. They believe that money is not going to be the tool, for exchange or whatever it is. But we are not there yet. And to me, I think that for money to dissolve, from our images and our creations here, money has to be loved, has to be transcended, and to realize that money is not the source of your happiness, I will say, permanent, or eternal happiness or security, like the permanent security. For sure, money is going to help you temporarily. But the idea of conscious entrepreneurs, from my perspective, or what I want to offer, because I'm growing myself in that direction, is to see that when we wake up internally inside ourselves, we can engage with money and prosperity, like Catherine Porter is teaching us here, from a place of peace, from a place of comfort in the now moment, So money then becomes an expression of that. So it's not the source of my security, but express. So I am in love to this journey, as you can see. I'm very passionate about it. And I love that, the more people we can get together here to really embody these laws of prosperity, this prosperity consciousness, the more we can support our world to vibrate highly, higher, so we don't suffer or create or keep seeing, poverty and lack and limitation. When you want to do something and you cannot do it because you don't have the money, that is limitation, And then we will see with the different chapters, but she talks about debts and everything that we get in from our unconsciousness. So I just want to acknowledge all of us that we are here to open the door to really integrate all this information and that's what I have to say here. It's so beautiful for me, this journey. So I would love to open the panel here. Jay Pepitone is one of our business partners, is our upline really in our social business here that we are in. And I would love to see if you have something to say, Jay, to introduce yourself a little bit. And also maybe you have some comments about the shocking, truth about prosperity. Hello? I can see your microphone open. Yes, good morning.
Okay, we're live and in action here. That's good to know.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to thank you guys for inviting me here. I appreciate it. My name is Jay Pepitone. I'm originally from New Jersey, living now in paradise in beautiful South Florida. And, I've been a business owner for quite some time and been involved in a lot of different endeavors, from owning taxis to racehorses, you name it, I've done it, I've tried it, internet businesses. I think one of the most important things is that, you got to just keep going, find your niche and don't stop and don't give up. People, I think people that are here, I know this group, we're not your normal everyday people, 9 to 5 people, and people are going to mock you for that and laugh at you for being different, but they're envious because they can't do it or they don't have the guts to do it. So, understand a lot of times you're being different is a threat to people that can't get out of the norm. So, and when people feel threatened, they attack what threatens them, even if it's what they really, really want. I really appreciate a group of people that I've come to know. Arne, we met under some trying circumstances, and it proves that sometimes when you're in a bad situation, good things come out of it. And that's what I've gotten from Doc Fran and Dr. Monica and Arne. And it's brought me to a point where I'm reading a lot of stuff that I would never read. I haven't read this book, but in sitting here and I'll listen to it, I'll read it, I'll go through it, the last couple of books, and there's once again I found in learning stuff and seeing there's always the right thing. There's always a recurring theme, and I apologize because for whatever reason I've been having a horrible internet connection. We're trying to get that, so this was very chopped up to me. But one thing that I from this and you get from and there might even be a book titled this. I'm not 100% sure, but it's the power of positive thinking. What shines through this is just no matter what, if your thinking is positive, it's going to lead you in the right direction. You're not going to. It's not a magical power, but if you keep that positive attitude. We're all challenged. We all could sit there and say, "Oh, woe is me," or "woe is," and you know what? Maybe there's always one or two people that we need to springboard that off of to talk through your challenges and get that reassurance. But in general, I just believe that positive attitude, that positive thinking, will eventually get you on the right path, even if it doesn't seem like it. And I could hear because it was chopped on hand. I'll sit down and I'll read this. I always think it, whatever, sometimes a chapter 2-3 times before I leave it, or I'll read an entire book and I'll go back and I'll reread it, because as we grow and as we learn that, wow, we missed words, or we didn't understand that the way it was originally written, or our thinking opens our mind to understand that chapter in a whole new light because we've grown and we see it differently. So that's my message to you, is just whatever we're reading here, read it on your own pace, read it again, read it again, read it again, and every time you read it, you'll go, wow, I didn't know that was in that chapter, or there's a whole paragraph there that I didn't see, which was there, you just weren't ready for it, because trust me, it's happened to me many, many times in just about every book I've read. So thank you guys again for allowing me to be part of this. I hope I can contribute and bring some idea and help to the group panel. So thank you, Monica.
Oh, absolutely, Jay. That's what I love. I love that we are human beings, okay? So we accept our human journey, and you are so on earth. I love your perspective always, so thank you so much, Jay. And I think that's what supports us, to really be in the journey. Like you said, for me, to read a book is very different than to study. I don't know if as a professional, when I studied medicine, it was so many years of studying to get in it. And I'm years now. I'm really working for years in prosperity. So that doesn't mean that you have, you're going to go through your own lessons. When you claim, to me, when I claim, financial freedom, like 1 year after, I lost everything. It's like, oh my gosh, he said, what's going on? Well, I needed to learn the lessons that the one that I shared before. Money is not the source of my happiness. Money is not the source of my nothing. Money is the expression. I mean, the amount of money is going to, I think, to me, is the tool of expressing myself. The more money I have, the more I can express and offer to the world who I am at that moment, So I love to learn the lessons, to support all of us, to really integrate the book, like you were saying, Jane, to study, to read it again and again, and to integrate it. So, but I would like to hear wise Arne to share with us your input here. Welcome.
Thank you for the wisdom words from all of you, and for Doc Fran for your reading. Is very, very inspiring, and Catherine Ponder for your writing this book is very inspiring. And I got some kick-ass on myself the last 2 days actually, and I remember in 2008, my economy went downhill big time. And I've been upset about that since. And in addition to that, I've had an experience of people not performing in my life and creating what I've seen as my not a good thing for me. And on the same time, I've been working very hard on affirmations and getting into that prosperous attitude, and then I fall back as soon as I remember or think about the 2008 or these people, then I feel bummed out again, and I have not been able to reclaim the wealth I had before 2008. And I just realized here the last 2 days here is, well, I am right about 2008 was a bad year, and I became a victim. And 2000 and these people that I've been working with, I'm a victim. They control my life, and I'm a victim. Well, if I have that attitude that I'm a victim and I don't have control over creating my results, and something outside like year 2008 or God or these other people, they have the power over my prosperity. With that attitude, well, then I'll be right. I will be right. I have been right that I don't have the power to recreate my abundance because of how I was victimized in 2008 and how I've been victimized by certain people, some people. Well, I have been stuck there. That God has actually totally given me exactly what I want to be right. I am a victim. I don't have the power, and right now I'm realizing until I can take that power and know that I created my situation in 2008, which was different than many other people in 2008, where they had a good time, a prosperous time. Other people had not a prosperous times, but many people did. And so until I can see that that was a part of my makeup, a part of that I created, then I get in the driver's seat of my life. Yes, this person that I think stopped my prosperity in my life, if he right now I put him in the driver's seat of my life as far as prosperity goes, and I keep getting the same results. So now I'm willing to step in and say, thank you, buddy. Thank you, 2008. You are no longer in the driver's seat. I actually created you. I am the creator. Together with God, I'm the creator. And because I take the responsibility, now I am in the power to create, which means I can create what I really want to create. But I've been stuck there in the part of me say, well, I create. I had that as a belief system, but there was these two places where, well, but not over here, and those have been showing their faces to me. Yeah, you're right. You are a victim, and look what we created for you, and here's some more of it, and here's some more of it, and until I go and say, wait a minute, you are not the creator of my life. I am. And I'm in that place now, in realizing that even the situation that happened, part of it was because of some choices that I made, which was bad choices, but they were my choices. And I wouldn't choose that today, but I did choose them then, and I did get the result of them, and I am in power to create what I want to create. So I'm putting myself back into my driver's seat, the driver's seat of my life and my prosperity. And I'm right there. I can get the power that I have a part of the creation there. I'm still focusing on completely dismantling that, well, the financial explosion that happened in 2008, it wasn't only me. Well, no, it has to be only me. So I'm bringing in that last piece where, no, there are other people in 2008 that did not have the problem I had. It's fully me. And when I can get that totally into my soul, I know that's my big key for opening my door. And I'm saying it because maybe other people can also relate to that. If we have something that we are not, where we are victims, where we are not the ones in charge, that will be blocking us from opening up to prosperity and letting it in. Thank you.
Wow. Woo! I love to have you in my life. Well, thank you so much, Arne, because to me, I think that to really embrace our human awakening, our human aspect and the resistance that we have to take our real power, and to know that, I mean, we will learn with Catherine Ponder forgiveness. I mean, it's very beautiful, this book. And to me, I think that I love that it's already, kicking you in, and us and all of us, whoever is open, we are going to see beyond, where we were until now. So I really, really appreciate that. And we are passing a little bit our time, but I see this like so important and interesting. So you have to go. You go. We get together next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. But if you can stay, just let's stay, because I'm sure that Doc Fran has something beautiful and powerful to say about what we are sharing here and about what you read also. But I love to hear you, Doc Fran. So please open. Yes, thank you.
Well, I just I do love dealing with people who are comfortable enough and powerful enough within themselves to expose their vulnerabilities. And Jay and Arne, both of you did that absolutely exquisitely this morning. And the thing that I loved about this, and what I really kind of want to bring sharp focus back to for our listeners, is that Catherine opens her discussion with the very foundational conflict that virtually all of us wrestle with at some point in our lives, either consciously or subconsciously, and that is, what is your real attitude about prosperity? Do you believe that being prosperous is evil and a sin, or do you believe that being prosperous is virtue? And I urge all of our listeners to really spend some time today, tomorrow, this week, whatever, and search through your own knowingness on this topic. Because one of the things that we've learned, and Catherine definitely brings to our attention, is that particularly in regards to money, that's one of the most highly charged states of mind in our human existence. And we can only have the exact amount of money in our lives that we will allow ourselves to have within our beliefs about money. So if you have disregard, disrespect, if you believe that wealthy people are usually evil criminal types that have gotten their richness at the expense of others, that's called a clue about why financial prosperity and money may be eluding you in your life work. So she doesn't mince any words. She opens up her chapter 1 with the 800-pound gorilla in the room that all of us have to wrestle with. You cannot avoid wrestling with that gorilla. So, maybe I'm inspired to use the wrestling metaphor because we watched this movie last night called Foxcatcher, which was an Academy Award nominated film, and just an outstanding movie. I highly recommend it to people to watch because I guarantee you that it will stimulate all of your ideas, conceived notions, fixed and limited beliefs, whatever, about the super wealthy and the rest of us. And so really quite a penetrating backdrop to come to this training this morning and open up this marvelous book, which I'm grateful to have been introduced to through Arne and Monica. So thank you all. Have a wonderful week. I can't wait till we have our conversations next week as Catherine brings her very human insights to each and every one of us in the ensuing chapters of this book. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Doc Fran. I love it. I love it. And like you were saying right now, to me, it's like, you know, depends on how committed you are with your own prosperity. You will dive deeper, and like you were saying, you know, what is my relationship with prosperity, with prosperous people? So that can give us big clues, you know, of where we are at. But I will also recommend to really use the guidance of Catherine Ponder in the sense of make your prayer. I mean, start to really build up this inner connection with Source, you know, and the last prayer that I see here, or affirmation, doesn't matter, I call it prayer because, I don't know, touches my heart, but doesn't matter, the label is not important here. But, you know, to really go home and to this week to commit to see if you can integrate this in your brain, you know, is I am the rich child of a loving universe, Father, God. Use whatever brings you home, okay? We have our own language inside, but I am the rich child of a loving universe. I now accept and claim His rich good for me in every phase of my life. My own God-given success in the form of rich ideas and rich results now appears. I just want you to imagine having this already in your conditioning, you know, in your automatic thinking, ingrained, and really believe in it and really seeing that already in your results. You know, you will start to feel safe. You will start to trust that the ideas that you need to improve in your business or in your own person is going to appear to you in a very easy way. So after that, I just want to say thank you again for the wonderful panel that we have here. I love you guys. Thank you to the people that are in the other side. And again, I will love if you can join the panel. So don't be shy. You have a lot to give, okay? And like Arne was teaching us today, I love you, Arne, so much. I mean, I really love to share my life with you because to really accept our humanity, you know, and to really go from where our experiences are guiding us to go. So that's how we can teach, because we are learning, okay, with you. So please don't doubt to send your request to arne@unlimitednetwork.com that you want to be part of this panel, so we will have more time to discuss things with you here. And I don't know if we have any questions of something on the other side, Arne. No, okay, beautiful. So then with this, we are going to complete for today. Have a wonderful, wonderful, prosperous week. And we are going to get together next Saturday, that is April 4th already, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So thank you very much, everyone, and see you next Saturday again.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you all guys here. It's
You're
incredible.
welcome.
Thank you.